Here we have a SAT math problem. Okay, let's go to the question. In the figure above, circle O is tangent to the sides of triangle ABC. If AB equals to 10 and BC equals to 6, what is the circumference of the circle to the nearest 10th? Okay, now to get the circumference of the circle, what we need is we need the radius of the circle. Once we get the radius of the circle, we can use the formula 2 times pi times r to get the circumference of the circle. Okay, for that, let me consider the given information. Okay, the sides of the right triangle ABC, we have the length of the side AB, that is 10, and the length of the side BC, that is 6. So AB is the hypotenuse, its length is given, that is 10, and BC is one of the legs of this right triangle, its length is given, that is 6. Okay, now we can use Pythagorean theorem to get the length of the side AC. Okay, let me write a Pythagorean theorem in this right triangle. So Pythagorean theorem says sum of the squares of two legs of a right triangle equals to the square of the hypotenuse, that is AC square plus BC square equals to AB square. Actually, AB is the hypotenuse because a side which is opposite to the right angle is considered to be hypotenuse, and AC and BC are the two remaining legs. I squared the two legs AC and BC and added them. So it must be equal to the square of the hypotenuse, that is AB square. So according to Pythagorean theorem. Okay, for AC, I do not know the length. So let me keep this AC as it is. For BC, I know the length, it's 6. It's given in the question itself. And for AB also, I know the length, that's 10. It's also given in the question. Okay, AC square positive, the value of 6 square is 36, 10 square is 100. Let me subtract 36 from both sides. When I do so, this positive 36, negative 36 will cancel out. I'm getting AC square equals to 100 negative 36 is 64. Okay, now to get up this square, we have to take square root on both sides. When I take square root on both sides, the square root and square will cancel out. I am getting AC equals to square root of 64 is 8. Usually when we take square root on both sides, for one of the square roots, we have to consider positive and negative sign. Usually we consider positive and negative sign for the square root which contains number inside. But here I don't consider positive and negative sign for 8 because AC represents a length. The length cannot be negative. Okay, now I got the length of the leg AC, that is 8. Okay, our aim is to get the radius of the circle. Only if I know the radius of the circle, I'll be able to get find the circumference of the circle. Now, let me mark some new points on the circle. Let me say this is point D, and this is point E, and this is point F. And let me draw a radius to the circle parallel to the side AC of the triangle, that is the horizontal radius over here. And let me draw one more radius to the circle parallel to the side BC, that is vertical radius. Okay, so let me mark the length of the radius as R, and here also we'll have R. Okay, since this side line segment is parallel to this one, the length of this line segment FC also must be R. And since this line segment EC is parallel to this one, the length of this line segment is also R. Okay, now let me consider the two line segments BD and BE. Both of them are tangents to the circle from the same external point B. So whenever I draw two tangents to a circle from the same external point, they must be equal in length. So the length of this BD and the length of this BE must be equal because both of them are tangents to the circle from the same external point B. Already we know that the length of this line segment is R and the length of this side BC of the triangle is 6. If I want to get the length of this line segment BE, what should I do? I have to subtract this R from the length of the line segment BC, that is 6. Then 6 negative R is the length of the tangent BE. Then what is the length of the tangent BD? That one also must be having the same length as 6 negative R. As I said earlier, so the two tangents are drawn to a circle from the same external point must be equal. Okay, now let me come to this stuff. That is, let me consider the tangent AD and tangent AF, which are drawn to the circle from the same external point A. So the length of this AD, the length of this AF must be equal. Already we know that the length of AC is 8. We just got it over here, and the length of FC is R. And what is the length of this tangent AF? For that, we have to subtract this R from the length of AC, that is 8. Then 8 negative R is the length of the tangent AF. Then the length of the tangent AD over here also must be 8 negative R because both the tangents must be equal. Now, let me consider the length of the side AB of the triangle, that is given 10. Let me write over here AB equals to 10. And we can write this length AB into two parts, that is AD positive DB. Let me write it over here. So instead of AB, we can write AD positive, DB equals to 10. So when I add the lengths of AD and DB, that is equal to AB. We know the length of AD, that is 8 negative R. We can plug in this 8 negative R for this AD and this 6 negative R for DB over here. Let me do it. 8 negative R positive 6 negative R equals to 10. Okay, now let's combine the like terms over here. When I combine this 8 and 6, I am getting 14. When I combine this negative R and negative R, I am getting negative 2R equals to 10. Okay, let me continue over here. So let me write this equation as it is. That is 14 negative 2R equals to 10. Let me subtract 14 from both sides. So when I do so, this positive 14, negative 14 will cancel. I am getting negative 2R equals to 10 negative 14 is negative 4. Let me divide both sides of the equation by negative 2. Then this negative 2 will cancel out. This negative will cancel out, and R equals to 4 divided by 2 is 2. Okay, now I got the radius of the circle, that is 2 units. Okay, now we can find the circumference of the circle, that is we can use a formula. So circumference of the circle is equal to 2 times pi times R. Then we get 2 times pi times the value of R is 2. When I multiply this 2 and 2, I am getting 4 pi. Now what we can do is we can take the value for this pi directly from our calculator, and it has to be multiplied by 4. When I multiply it by 4, I am getting 12.566, and it keeps going a long decimal. But according to the instruction, we have to get the circumference of the circle to the nearest tenth. So nearest tenth means like we have to round it to one decimal place. For that, we have to consider the digit at the 100th place. So if it is 5 or greater than 5, we have to add 1 to the digit at the 10th place. So when I consider the digit at the 100th place, it's 6. It's greater than 5. So we can ignore all the digits over here. We can add 1 to the digit at the 10th place. So then when it is rounded to the nearest 10th place, and it is 12.6. That is 1 is added to this 5. So therefore, the circumference of the circle to the nearest 10th is 12.6.